wisdom of the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. Magical witchcraft, and the craft you can mix and make it one, mix and blend that, make that one. I believe in nothing but reincarnation. Spirit science was the first one to, in this lifetime, to enlighten me on the concept of we go to Sheol's, or paradise, which is basically which they renamed heaven and hell. I believe that's the name, Sheol's paradise. And we wait to reincarnate. We may end up in certain dimensions, who knows, forever or not. Some religions or cultures believe you come back as animals, aliens, all kind of stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. I can't tell nobody about their past, present, future experiences with who they were, what they were, who they'll be. But I believe it's embedded in our DNA, spiritually, mentally, physically, psychologically, and emotionally. All our as well as your physical, mentally, psychologically, embedded in your DNA, all your experiences. Y'all talked about the wisdom. Model your self into the image of the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. When you lucid daydream, meditate lucid daydream, and you pull from the sounds around you, whether it's on TV, music in your head, not in your head, other people's music. You want to engage your current environment too, the people, places, things, and sounds. Make it go along with the images or not. Clock time, psychological time, from Eckhart's book. We passed that. We're beyond that. One day I was talking. This was in telepathic communication. I'm talking out loud to myself, but I believe that everybody can hear, see, feel everything I do. And I said, clock time is when you feel remorse and guilt, and then whatever way it went, and then I went back to correct it. No. Psychological time, or it could have been, I said psychological time is when you learn from your past mistake. But clock, and this sheriff named Trimbles made it one before I could. So I came with clocks. You got clock, psychological time. You got clock time, psychological time, psychological clock time, clock, psychological time, clock, psychological time. So what that is psychological time is when you feel remorse and guilt over things that you can't change that happened to you in the past. When you look to the future, you always worry about something that may happen or not happen. Clock time, of course, this comes from the book The Power Now by Eckhart. Clock time is when you learn from your past mistakes and other people's past mistakes, and basically you learn a lesson. When you look to the future, you plan your goals, but you work towards them in a now. Because in Buddhism, they teach you that all we have is the now. And what the Buddha talked about the past, present, and future, and living in the now too. I forgot what page it's on one day. So when you go from clock time to psychological to clock, psychological, clock, internal, external, all of this. Basically, it's like I'm not going to put you in the grid and tell you how you should conduct yourself or your emotions, your thoughts, mind, body, spirit, and soul, but it goes in and out the grid, male and female energy, in and out, out and in. That's how I go. The prophecy of the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. How to succeed women taught me that you people will bring out different sides of your personality. I believe everybody has different sides to their personality. Everybody has different sides to their personality. It's like different colored diamonds. I believe it's like you can switch this up too, but you can be your ego. You know how they say your ego is your identity or who you think you is. You can make that the actor, whether you're playing multiple roles in one or not. The producer will be your spirit, which we would say has the personality in it, all the different personalities. The spirit has, as well as your emotions. I believe the spirit is connected to emotions too. We'll get to that one day, today. And then the director will be your mind. You see what I'm saying? So your director will be your mind. Your spirit will be your personality or your emotions connected. And the actor will be your ego. What role are you playing at that time, moment, circumstances, around what environment, around what people. Transform yourself into the image of the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. Mirror yourself after the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. Everything else is whatever archetype you can put together. And I noticed in the astral plane, but we can go in all dimensions. What you don't want to happen, do, don't, and then sometimes do. What that is like electricity. Negativity can't block. snuff out positivity. Positivity can snuff out negativity. They can snuff out the middle path or the every angle or the nothing, where everything seems like it's nothing but it's clashed together and then manifests in its own form. And sometimes negative and positive, like the scientists say, is not about good and evil. It's just like a battery. So the frequencies, the vibrations, it may be certain dimensions that's just pure or pure evil or mixed and all this and that. Who knows? Invisible, visible, and then a manifestation. You know how they say, don't go by what you see. So we go invisible, visible, visible, invisible, and the manifestation in all dimensions. We'll talk about that. All right, when breathing, what the Buddha talks about observing your breath, your in and out breaths. But I talk about lucid daydream, meditating, lucid daydreaming. You can control it. You can put images connected there, internal, external, in your body, in and out your body, all around you at the same time, different time, or just observe your breath, or make yourself breathe a certain way. That's up to you. The Masons, I've seen a documentary with them, something about letting the light in or blocking the light out. So what you want to think about that is all colors mixed with light and darkness, darkness and light, 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 darkness and darkness. And blocking out light is like a kaleidoscope, letting it in and out. Your body's the temple, like my mom said, know thyself. But the body is the temple, like she said. Jesus didn't have a church. You know, his body is the temple. I read the Bible 3 times. She was correct. So we say the church, the monastery, the mosque, the castle, the home. Put Buddhism at the end of that also. So your mind, body, spirit, soul is the temple, church, castle, monastery, the home. Tupac taught me the house is where you live. Your home is within. Racism is just another social judgment. There's nothing wrong with it if they ain't hurt nobody. You don't like somebody got in with body types. A female counselor in telepathic communication got in there with body types. But if you don't like certain class of people, certain religions, certain cultures, certain looks, certain personalities, that's all it is a social judgment. As long as they ain't hurt nobody, who gives a fuck? The commandments of the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. You know, I'm copying the Christians. Same thing for the testimony, the scripture, the gospel, the word. You see what I'm saying? All that has to deal with everybody experiences in and out of time, forever and ever in all dimensions. Now, yeah, the worship of the gods, goddesses, and gods, and everything else. You want to talk about that? Let me see, what else can I talk about? Or the concrete jungle and the jungle, they, like pimps and dope dealers don't seem like bad people to me as long as they ain't killing nobody. They need to hurry up and legalize that profession. But once you condone one, you condone the other. It opens up the whole thing for crime. But everybody ain't the same type of criminal due to their personality. But the monkey is the thief, the gorilla is the bully, the hyenas, the jackers, the flockers is the birds and the vultures. You see what I'm saying? The lion is the pimp. You know what I'm talking about? Now, when it comes to the different senses and their functions, what the Buddha taught went in detail on that, but that's not how I tapped into that concept. The reason I tapped into that concept was because one day a sheriff told me in telepathic communication he could feel my vibes, and I was being humble about a situation. Like, I don't know how it looks for people to see, hear, feel everything I do. And the sheriff said he can feel my vibes. So then I went into the concept later on that night when I lucid daydream, meditate, lucid daydream with the Kundalini system all day. But I was meditating, lucid daydreaming, and then the different senses start hitting me. Like I learned from a spiritual book, spiritual blindness, and then blindness. You see what I'm saying? Because they talk about Jesus talk about, but they just teach me spiritual blindness. You know how Jesus say you see, but you do not see. You hear, but do not hear. So every culture can say that. That's you just being closed-minded to them people perspectives. But I went into spiritual blindness, physical blindness, the different like deaf. But then I went recently with hearing voices in your head or hearing yourself think, as well as being physically deaf. You can feelings, your feelings, and then the sensations, and then the 3 tastes of the tongue hit me: sweet, sour, and bitter. Confucius seen it sweet. I think Lasu seen it bitter, and Buddha saw it sour. That's the 3 tastes of the tongue. I might have the order mixed up right now, but I'll correct that. And I thought I told myself they were pulling our chains. I seen Modern Family. He was eating ice cream. The powerful, healthy, tough Modern Family actor. I thought he was talking about it on TV, but he wasn't. I think he was doing something else. But I brought it up again, and the sheriff said maybe it go both ways, so maybe it do. So you can change your body temperatures, thinking of fire, water, air, earth, with the sensations, the breathing. I learned how to speed it up with Titanic, how to make it cold. When I seen the movie Titanic and he was about to drown and he was hyperventilating. Now, Buddhist theory of relativity is how everything is connected. It has to do with conditions. I say non-conditions. How everything's related, I say non-related. He talks about conditions, related, and interdependent. I'll go independent. So you go every which way, you mix and blend all that. But how everything is connected and is one. One of the Buddhists taught that. Then Einstein has how his theory of relativity is how with the speed of light, how everything is connected with the speed of light. Tiptoe from East Coast correcting me because I said it's how everything's connected, but he was happy to let me know that speed of light is there. So we're gonna go all speeds, all tempos, all animation, not animation, all dimensions in and out of time for all the theory of relativities. Now, I used to say the Buddha had theory of relativity, Einstein had theory of relativity, and the Native Americans say we won. How do they know that? How do they know we won? And one day I misread someone's body language reporter, and he had to see while he was like cleaning up, and it made me think of the word connected. But he admitted that he wasn't thinking about what I was thinking about, but we both still learned something. It's the connection. See, you put vibes. See, like the share vibes, vibrations. The ancestors talk about vibrations. Knowing everything is one. You can feel my vibe. You can feel my vibe. So you know you want to